Welcome student on another video lecture on topic plant tissue culture. Today we will see about factors affecting tissue culture efficiency. So what are the different factors which affect the efficiency of tissue culture that we are going to study. Plant regeneration from tissue culture varies with the following parameters. So following are the factors which affect the efficiency of tissue culture. In that, first one is plant species. That plant species means the choice of explant, that is obtained, or choice of explant material which can be having important effect on success of tissue culture. The explant is a fragment of tissue, fragment of multicell. So that fragments which are obtained from which part of the plant, according to that the success of culture will depend, because each and every part of plant which contain endogenous hormones, these the level of these endogenous hormone will different in different parts of plant. So which part of plant is taken for preparing culture, according to that the efficiency of culture will determine. For example, the plant parts which include root, stem, leaves, hypocotyl, epicotyl, comb, all these are the different parts of the plant, and each and every part of plant which contain the endogenous hormones that is responsible for its growth, and these hormone levels are different in each and every part of plant. So which part of plant, which plant species that should be selected for preparing a culture, according to that the culture will produce, or the success of culture will depend. For example, generally the explant which is obtained from leaves or comb, they show high callus induction rate, whereas those obtained from petal and stem, those explants which are obtained from petal and stem, that are not showing that much callus formation or induction of callus formation rate. So according to the which species as well as which part of plant that is used for culturing, that will depend the success of that particular culture. Second one is genotype within the species. Genotype means there is genetic variation or different genetic characters, and there are different genotype or genetic variation within the species, and if there will be the difference in genotype, the differences in callus induction rate, type of callus, root formation during callus phase, and shoot regeneration rate, all these get differ. If the genotypes are differ, genetic characters are differ within the species, then the differences will occur in the callus also, that is type of callus formation, root formation during callus phase, and induction rate, all these will get differ according to the genotype. So this is also one of the factor which affect the tissue culture efficiency. After that, source of cultured tissue. Source of cultured tissue means source of explant. That source of explant may be in vitro or in vivo. In general, the in vitro explant considered to be more suitable for organogenesis. So if the culture is in vitro, then in that case the shoot and roots are formed easily and it is suitable for organogenesis. So according to the source, the efficiency of culture will also differ, if it is whether it is a in vivo or whether it is a in vitro. In vitro is more suitable for formation of root and shoot. Age and health of donor plant. The donor plant which is used to prepare culture, what is the age and how healthy that plant is. If the plant is cultivated under uniform condition, it is having higher concentration of active constituent, and what is the particular age because at particular age only the concentration of active constituent will more and the plant will be healthy, and such plant is giving best quality culture, whereas those plants which are unhealthy and very high age plant or the plant which high age plants is there, then there is less meristematic tissues are present, and due to which cell division and growth will not occur in such plant, and due to which the cells which are present, they are also not undergoing faster cell division. And if the plant is too small, the age is very less, in that case also there will be no proper concentration of active constituents, so the species will not form of good or healthy quality, or beneficial species cannot be produced. So age and health of that plant should be also one of the important factor. Apart from that, nutrient medium, the nutrient medium which is provided for the proper growth of that explant, if it is not proper, all the constituent, that is macronutrient, micronutrient, vitamins, growth hormones, sugar, agar, all these are not properly added or in proper concentration, or if the nutrient medium get also affected or infected due to some virus, bacteria, then also it will result into infected culture, and the species will not produce of good and healthy quality. Also, if the nutrient is not in proper concentration, then also the growth will not proper in case of the culture or the cells which are forming the callus. For that reason, nutrient medium is also one of the important factor. Other factors, it includes orientation of explant. Orientation of explant in culture medium also affect the shoot proliferation and regeneration efficiency. So if the explant which is used or which is placed in culture medium, what is the orientation of that particular explant? According to that, the shoot for proliferation or regeneration will occur. For example, if the explant is placed in horizontal position, then it will produce high efficiency culture, and it will get large amount of nutritive medium, and the callus will form properly. Whereas if that explant is placed in vertical position, there will be very little contact of nutrient medium with the explant, and it will not grow properly. For that reason, how the explant is placed in the culture medium, that will also affect the efficiency of tissue culture. After that, gases exchange and relative humidity is also one of the factor which affect tissue culture efficiency. Generally the tissue culture is prepared in a closed vessel. Cultured vessel is usually a closed system. It is made up of container and closure, but some gases exchange will occur, and the exchange of gases will depend upon the type of closure and type of containers which are used for culturing. If the closure and containers are too tightly sealed, then the gases will not exchange, no gases exchange will occur, and in that case large accumulation of ethylene will occur inside the container, and depletion of CO2 will also occur. For that reason, the sealing should be such that it should permit the proper ventilation or proper exchange of gases should be takes place for the proper and normal growth of the culture. Higher humidity or relative humidity will usually result into poorly developed epicuticular wax layer and malfunctioning of the stomata. So humidity is present inside the container. If the humidity is relative or in higher percentage, then what will happen? The cuticle which is formed, or outside covering of the cell which is formed, which will not develop properly. Poor development will occur, and malfunctioning of stomata will also occur. The stomata are the organs for exchange of gases will take place through stomata, and the poor stomata will form, and the humidity concentration will increase. For that reason, the humidity should also be within limit inside the container for efficient culture formation. After that, another factor which affect the efficiency of tissue culture is light. The light's properties such as wavelength of light, flux density of light, and photo period, all these three factors. Wavelength means what is the particular wavelength of light that will reach to the culture. Flux density means how much amount of light rays they are passes through that material, and photo period for how much time that particular culture medium is exposed to that light, that will affect the or influence the growth characteristics such as stem elongation, leaf size, and plant anatomy. So the plant anatomy will also change due to that light, as well as leaf size is also differ according to the nature of light and the period of exposure of that light, and density, wavelength of light, and stem elongation. Stem elongation is also depend upon the lights. All these factor. Light will enhance the formation of shoot. In presence of light, there will be increase in shoot formation, whereas the darkness will favor the root formation. In darkness, the root formation will favor, because reduced rooting in presence of light due to degradation of indole acetic acid. Indole acetic acid is the growth hormone auxin, and which will get reduced in presence of light, and due to which there will be degradation of auxin and reduce in root formation. Root formation will reduce in presence of light due to degradation of auxin, that is indole acetic acid. So these are the apart from that, one more factor is there, that is temperature. Temperature also influence various physiological process such as respiration, photosynthesis, and the well known, or in general, the concentration of temperature range should be, that is 20 degrees Celsius and 27 degrees Celsius is the normal temperature range which is required for efficient culture formation, but that may vary depending upon the genotype. The optimal temperature conditions which will vary according to the different genotype. So all these are the different factors which affect tissue culture efficiency. Now plant tissue culture applications. First application is commercial production of plants used as potting, landscape, florist substrate. So this plant tissue culture technique will help to develop different varieties of plant. Different species of plant can be produced, and they can be used for landscaping and potting, all these. After that, it will conserve rare and endangered plant species. Those plant species which are in rare or which are endangered, such species can be conserved by using this plant tissue culture technique. The cultures are prepared and the plants can develop, or those plants which will not viable or the seeds are not germinating, that plants can also be conserved by this plant tissue culture technique to screen cells rather than plant for advantageous characters such as herbicide resistance and tolerance. Cell screening is done. Those cells which are very healthy and which are properly growing, such can be subcultured, and then new species will form, and that new species is herbicide resistance, and it should have more tolerance because of that plant tissue culture technique. This is also one of the advantage of plant tissue culture technique. Large scale growth of plant cell in liquid culture in bioreactor for production of valuable compounds like plant derived secondary metabolites and recombinant proteins used as a biopharmaceutical. So this plant tissue culture technique has one of the most important advantages that plant derived secondary metabolites can produce. So the plant contains carbohydrate, protein, fats, lipids, all these are the primary metabolites. And from these primary metabolites that is carbohydrate, protein, fats, they can used as a building block, and from that primary metabolites different types of secondary metabolites are produced. For example, alkaloids, glycosides, tannins, or resins, all these are the secondary metabolites which are produced in the plant by different biosynthetic pathways. Different these plants which will follow different biosynthetic pathways, and due to these pathways from primary metabolites secondary metabolites are produced. And the example of secondary metabolites is alkaloid, glycoside, all these are the secondary metabolites, and they are giving particular therapeutic effect. So these secondary metabolites, they are responsible for producing particular therapeutic effect by the plant. So these secondary metabolites can be prepared by using bioreactors. Bioreactor vessels are used, and in that bioreactor vessels the different manipulations are done during culture medium, that is temperature variation or UV rays, X-rays, various physical agent, chemical agent, environmental changes, all these are provided to the cells. And when these changes or manipulations are provided to these cells, they will form different types of secondary metabolites, or they will induce different biosynthetic pathways, or more beneficial species can be produced with different types of secondary metabolites. They are giving particular therapeutic effect. So this one is one of the important application of plant tissue culture. Second one is recombinant proteins can be prepared. Recombinant technology means when gene from one species is inserted into another species or another organism, and it will produce certain beneficial effect or certain proteins. The clones will also produce same gene or same DNA fragment can be prepared, or it will give certain expressions are produced by the genes. They will, due to that expression, it will synthesize different proteins, and that different proteins will give particular gene expression, and due to which it will give different metabolic induces various biosynthetic pathways, so that it will provide different type of secondary metabolites in the plant. So in case of recombinant DNA technology, a DNA fragment is selected, and from that DNA fragment the particular gene which is required to recombinant, or the gene which is of use, that gene should be located, and there are certain enzymes which will recognize certain codons on the gene. For example, ATC, CG, GC, these are the different types of codons, they are present on the gene, and that particular codon is recognized by that enzyme, and after recognition of that codon on the gene which is of use or which is required, that should be cleavage or cut from that DNA. The gene of interest, that should be cut from that DNA fragment which is giving particular codon, and for that cleavage of that gene, it requires an enzyme, that is restriction endonuclease enzyme, that will locate the specific codon, and they will cleavage at specific point of that particular gene. By using that restriction endonuclease enzyme, now the gene is cut, and that portion of gene is then attached to a vector. Vector is a vehicle which is used for transfer of gene to host cell. So to transfer that cut gene portion or cleaved gene portion into host cell, it requires a vehicle. That vehicle is a vector. For example, in case of plant, rhizogenes are used. Rhizogenes or vectors are nothing but these are again the gene sequences, and now the same endonuclease enzyme will cut the vector gene also. Vector gene is also cut by same endonuclease enzyme, so that the complementary cut will produce, and the portion of gene which is cut from or cleaved from the DNA to that will be fixed in the vector gene. Now the gene from DNA fragment that will fixed in the gene of genomic sequence or gene sequence of the vector, and the gaps or nicks which are formed that are filled by the ligase enzyme. Now the gene which will form is known as recombinant DNA. That DNA which will form is a recombinant DNA because it is the combination of vector DNA and it is the combination of particular specific DNA and of one organism, and in that vector DNA is combined. Now that DNA form is known as recombinant DNA. Now that recombinant DNA, it is placed in a culture medium. The culture medium, it contains growing callus or growing large number of cells, healthy cells. They are growing in the culture medium. Now that recombinant DNA is placed in that culture medium and it contains certain substances. They will start, or they will allow the cells to uptake that vector, and the vector will uptake by the number of cells, and when these number of cells they are undergo cell division, then these vector genes or gene sequence, they are self-replicating. They are also having same replicating power, and due to which what will happen when the cell will divide, same way the gene will also get replicate, and large number of cells with large number of that gene they will produce, and after that screening is done, so that the cell which contain that particular gene that is selected, and now that gene will sometimes they will produce different types of clones, or now they will synthesize certain proteins and they will induce the biosynthetic pathways, and due to which a large number of active constituents they are produced by the plants which are produced by this recombinant DNA technology. So this is also one of the application to cross distantly related species by protoplast fusion and regeneration of novel hybrid. So novel hybrids can also be produced by crossing over of two species or by protoplast fusion. Also new hybrids or new species can be produced to produce clean plant material from stock infected by viruses or other pathogens. If the stock is infected by viruses and pathogens, due to culture technique, cleaning is done because disinfectants, sterilizers are used, and after that also subculturing is done. Those cells which are healthy and growing, they are subcultured and then they are transferred into or regenerate into new plant. For that reason, though the stock is infected, clean plant material can be produced by this plant tissue culture technique. Production of identical sterile hybrid species can be obtained. So identical sterile hybrids can be obtained by using protoplast fusion. Same haploid plantlets are produced with one set of chromosomes. So identical sterile hybrids can also be produced by this plant tissue culture technique. Difference in plant tissue culture technique and animal culture: it grow on specific temperature, that is normal temperature for human, that is 37 degrees Celsius. Carbon dioxide is also required in case of plant tissue culture. It is needed proper change in media, otherwise cell will not grow properly. It is very difficult to grow plant cells. So proper change in media is always required. Nutrition medium should be healthy and should be uniform. It should be changed properly so that it will grow the callus properly. Animal cell needed protein and hormones for their